All right, so to recap, we've covered some external marketing, specifically with regard to new patient attraction through using an information marketing strategy. So you can go back and review the video that you'll get to see more about that, and we can talk more about that later. So the next thing is, let's jump into then internal marketing. And this is really the biggest opportunity for every and any dentist in America. Why? Because this doesn't require marketing dollars, advertising dollars be spent. This is focused on getting people who you already have. So the first that I'm going to talk about is what I consider the pre-consult video, presentation, proof, video sales letter, and the sizzle reel. They're three different things, really with three different focuses. I'm going to talk about those. So first, let's talk about a patient's belief model. What do we understand them to know, think, and feel about dentistry? What's their experience been? It has been, there's three major things that people focus on, and it's all fear-based. Will you hurt me? The fear of pain, injections, side effects or after effects, that helplessness or that loss of control, and the invasion on personal space. How long will it take? How much will it cost? See, these are things that are in the patient's mind that they're thinking about. See, we're trying to get them to dentistry, but they got all this junk in the way. So, patient's belief model, we need to start where they're at. A guy by the name of Robert Collier, a renowned marketer, direct response marketer from the 40s and 50s, about Elmer Wheeler's time. His premise was, he was an advertising guy. His premise was you need to enter the conversation already going on in the person's mind. Where are they at? It's their belief model. We're trying to get them into dentistry, but we need to get them past that. So I published a booklet called The Top 10 Reasons Every Dental Practice Must Stop Using Basic Patient Testimonials. And in chapter 4, number 4, we talk about the experience. It's estimated that 75% of U.S. adults experience some degree of dental fear. This avoidance keeps many patients away from dentistry until emergency forces them into the dentist. Most develop their dental fear from previous experiences, and they project those experiences. So remember what I talked about before, the transfer of trust triangle? Connect them with the patients you've already done stuff with. See, I get those patients to talk about what their dental fears were, what their obstacles were, what kept them away from the dentist. And they find out that these people have the same fears. So I'm going to skip over this. So let's get into patient thought process. And this is in my book, which you have. Let's get into what it is that people really are looking for. So if they have all these fears, and they have all of these preconceived notions or experiences, past bad experiences, they got all that junk going on. They have all of that junk going on. And we need to provide them with proof. Proof. So one of the ways that I do it is through patient stories. And this is one of Dr. Pierce's patients, Baldwinsville Dentistry. And this is a patient, lady by the name of Shannon Wright. And this is a piece of video content. This is demonstration of the transfer of trust triangle. This is an interview I did with Shannon, 30, 45-minute interview. And this is what was extrapolated. This is only a piece of a total 7-minute video that was extrapolated out of it. And Shannon said, I'm terrified of the dentist. Terrified, like, by terrified I mean cold sweat breaking out and running down my face. It started way back when I was a little girl. I mean, I had a dentist pull a tooth, an impacted tooth. I was 10, and he said that I was being a baby. See, the connection there is the fact that there's people who have been ridiculed, chastised, belittled by their dentist. See, that's a connection point. He said that I was being a baby, but he hadn't given me enough Novocaine. And the next thing, what I remember is kicking him and running out, and blood was running down my face, and my mother was horrified. Maybe I just picked the wrong dentists, and I'm glad that I finally picked one that's a winner. I was finally forced to find a dentist when the Ambisol and the Tylenol would no longer make the pain go away from my tooth that was abscessed. See the transfer here? Connection? People have experienced that. She goes on to say, I cannot place a value on anything that Dr. Pierce has done with my dental work. I can't. It really has changed my life. Transformation, not transaction. I smile more, I laugh more, I take more pictures, like family pictures. I don't sit in the corner anymore. I talk to people. When you have really bad teeth, you try to cover them and hide them. You become a master and an expert at it. I don't have to do that anymore, I mean, it's now, I literally have the perfect smile for me. Dr. Pierce was everything I needed him to be. Other part of the conversation, she goes on to talk about how she's got a car in her mouth. Her investment was pretty hefty. It's 40 grand. But there's proof. Not presentation, proof. In my Profile of America's Best Dental documentary program, this was for Dr. Demetrakopoulos in St. Helena, California. Her patient, Kathy Wright, with regard to authority and celebrity, because she was chosen and featured as one of America's best dentists. Kathy said, when I tell friends my dentist is recognized as one of the best dentists in America, it gets their attention. Now it's not that Kathy had her teeth capped and they look great. It's now they were capped by someone who really knows what they're doing. Then they want to know where she is and if she's accepting new patients. ACE, authority, celebrity, exclusivity. Exclusivity. And rather than giving out Dr. Pauline's business card, I hand them a copy of Dr. P's documentary film, which I'll show you here. I think I have Dr. P's. Dr. P's. Dr. P's documentary. Profile of America's Best Dentists. I'll get to these in a minute. Lastly, again, Dr. Pierce. So, again, understanding and starting where the patient's at. This is an interview. This is an interview. You'll see how this all comes together. This was Angela Stoutinger. She said, I had received flyers in the mail from this practice. I just stuck it into my pile and thought, maybe when I'm ready to go to a dentist, I'll think about going to them. And then I thought, it's really time. I really need to go to the dentist. I was really torn because another coworker was going to a different dentist in Baldwinsville, and she had just started going to him, and she had been having a good experience. So I was really torn between the two. But I don't know. There was something about Dr. Pierce. I don't even remember if it was something about what they said. I don't know. I just thought to myself, this is the dentist for me. You see, with a testimonial like that, in video, remember Morabian's study. Nonverbal, voice and tone, words. I just read you the words. I didn't even read it in the context or in the tone that they did it, the body language, the facial expressions. The eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. I didn't even do that. You didn't even get that part. Okay? You can if you watch the documentary. All right. So, as I talked about, I'm going to start at the shorter version. Okay? There's 3 of these things. Because people want certainty. They want to know what they're certain of getting. People don't want uncertainty. See, uncertainty is getting an information guide that only gives you information and leaves you without any conclusion. So I'm going to start with the sizzle reel. What is a sizzle reel? A sizzle reel, I don't have a dental version of a sizzle reel because I have no dentists that have ever done a sizzle reel. I do, however, have a financial advisor we've done a sizzle reel with. A sizzle reel, this is this is Jim Lang in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And a sizzle reel has multiple uses. Here's an article from one of my newsletters. A sizzle reel is designed to have multiple uses and applications. Simply by adding a bridge to the end of it, we can change. So a sizzle reel is just that. As I'll talk about in the book with Elmer Wheeler, sizzlemanship. It is a matter of what is the differentiation? What is that 0.01%? That's built into a video that sizzles. It makes you sizzle. It's the steak on the grill sizzling, and you can smell the flavors. You can hear the crackles and the pops. You can anticipate what you're going to experience with that. That's a sizzle reel. Sizzle reels tend to be short. They tend to be 4, 6, 8 minutes. They're quick, fast-paced. They're actually hardcore selling. They're hardcore selling that's focused specifically on selling the value of the person, of you. I have a hypothesis as to why dentists haven't done one. And that hypothesis is that you guys are humble, reserved, and it is counterintuitive for you to promote yourself. And I believe that that's why many dentists have never done a sizzle reel. Be it as it may, okay? A video sales letter. A video sales letter is different. A video sales letter is, when done in conjunction with the information guide, with the patient guide, a video sales letter, and here are some samples of video sales letter. This was for Dr. Nazari in Houston, Texas, for Dr. Denise DeBona in Red Bank, New Jersey, Dr. Monica Goldenberg, who is an orthodontist in Houston, Texas. That was her. Dr. Wilford and David Miyazaki in Honolulu, Hawaii. I have 2 of those. A video sales letter is a longer, and these tend to be, these are longer. So some of these are 37, 40 minutes long. And they involve patients. They involve talks with the doctors. They involve voiceover. They involve, it's a sales letter in video form. All right? A more elevated version of this video sales letter is the documentary film. The documentary film, The Profile of America's Best Dentist, is a trademark program of mine, is that what this does in difference to these, and you'll see these say profile, but these are documentary films. These are all documentaries about what it's like to be a patient in the practice before you commit to being a patient. So again, they're built on the transfer of trust triangle. They're long. So the true profile video is 30 minutes to 60 minutes in length. It's television length. It's actually a broadcast piece. It doesn't have to be broadcast. In fact, Dr. Pierce, we used it in local cable television for him. Within the first 2 weeks, it generated a $10,000 case for him. But the Profile of America's Best Dentist is built on interviewing the patients, interviewing the doctor. I tend to stay away from staff, unless you've got 30, 40-year history with the staff, because staff is transient, and you don't want to be getting into changing this thing. All right? But this is an asset. This is an asset the practice has. See, you're not going to go to a video guy and produce this. You're going to have to tell him how to do all this. If you know how to do all this, by all means, you can do it. But, okay, so what is this thing? What do you do with these things? What do you do with these? These go out to the patient in advance, and it prepares them for what the experience is going to be like in generality. The next progression is what I consider the pre-consultation. Whereas these are, the sizzle reel and the profile of America's Best Dentist are intended to be preparing you for, getting you over the hump for dentistry in general and introducing you to the practice and the doctor. It is setting them up for the experience in the office. The pre-consult is different. The pre-consult requires a thicker skin on your part. It requires you to be okay with being transparent with the patient. All right? And this has been adapted from, I don't think you can see it on here, this is too big. Yeah. This has been adapted from work I did with Dr. Dustin Burleson in orthodontics, which is the Excellence in Orthodontics area exclusive program. So this is all the print materials involved in it, but I'm going to focus on, because I wasn't involved in that. What I was involved in was in producing all these videos. And there's 3 videos in particular I want to focus on here that are of most application for you. And that is, the first one is pre-consultation. So in the Invisalign, in the orthodontics, we had general orthodontics and Invisalign specific. And as I said, the pre-consultation requires a little thicker skin, because what this does is this gets down to the nitty-gritty. Not only does it include content from the profiles of America's Best Dentist, but this gets into what you're going to experience when you come into the office. It prepares them for the conversations that you're going to have. You're going to be presenting treatment for them. Why is it important? Because that's not what they want. They know they're going to get it, but we need to set them up for it. Why are you going to get a treatment plan presented to you if you need it? All right. What about price? What about money? What about time? What about, it's all of this, this is actually a sales and consultation preparation. So it seems superficially nuanced, but it's not. This is a much more in-depth conversation. So if you could have a conversation with the patient before they come, completely removed from being the dentist, what would you want them to know before they come in? You want them to know they're going to be presented a treatment plan. So let's think about this. What's the typical process? What's the typical system? So you've got a patient. The patient comes into the practice for first appointment. They're kind of clueless. They're coming in hoping, praying you don't find any kind of wreckage in their mouth. Knowing full well they are, so they're already prepared for the money. And what are they going to get? No. What are you going to get? No. I got to think about it. I got to talk to my spouse. I want to get a second opinion. All of these things that are going to get in the way when you get to presenting price or time. That's another issue. Pain. That's another issue. So what if all of these things could be set aside, could already have been addressed, we basically teed them up as a golfer. We tee up the ball for a hole-in-one. Or in baseball have the setup guy for the closer. What if we could set all this stuff up in advance? And you or your treatment coordinator or your office manager, whoever makes the money presentation, they're the closer. This is the setup person. That's what the pre-consult does. It prepares them for the visit, not just on a dental standpoint, but it prepares them for these other conversations you're going to have. So they come in better qualified, better prepared. So these tend to be 20, 25, 30 minutes long. All right? So you're going to say, that's a long time. That's a long time. So, somebody going to watch all that? Yeah, they're going to watch all that. Because why? They're vested. They're interested. See, the more time, there's a direct correlation by the amount of time they spend with you and the ease at which they accept treatment. So, this is a article by Dan Kennedy, 2016 actually, so a couple years ago. And it says, when should you go long, meaning you go for the long sale. Well-educated prospects want the facts and are more receptive to long, he says copy, longer information. Long format copy, videos, content, patient guides usually make sense when you're trying to educate your target market. Well, see, when you have somebody who's coming in and going to get this on their first appointment, see, you don't want this conversation getting in the way and then moving to a second appointment. Because in retail sales, they have a term called be-backs. Be-back. Okay? So the patient says here, we want to think about it, we'll be back. See, the retail people say there are no be-backs. Well, I beg to differ, and I'm going to show you the next strategy on that. But really, you want them as best prepared as possible. You want to increase your odds. So using an unrelated example, a client of mine is the Texas Baseball Ranch in Houston, Texas. And they are the highest priced, unrelated to dentistry here, but make a point. They're the highest priced multi-day camp in the country. Their primary audience is high school kids, college kids. So parents are paying for this thing, not the kids. They have some big league pitchers, Justin Verlander, Trevor Bauer. They have some big league, but that's not their focus. Their focus is high school kids, college kids. They're the highest priced in the country. They have an extensive. So this particular program, which I produced, let me see if this version here. Yeah. So this particular program that I produced is part of their shock and awe package. It's what goes out to them in advance. This would really be considered a video sales letter. This isn't a pre-consultation. This is a video sales letter, but it's a mix because we do talk about price, we talk about money, we talk about why that shouldn't get in the way. We're actually taking this a step further, and we're going to be adding into this parents who talk about and validate the reasons, the proof that we do. We're using social proof. Make sense? So the entire reason that we did this program was to speed of sale. So remember what I talked about with the erectile dysfunction in using the information guide. Going from the book to the information guide is it sped up getting to the sale for us. Okay, so that's the first piece. If you're selling something exotic or complex, down here, selling something exotic or complex, that requires lots of description, lots of proof. We can't do this in a short period of time. So in the home improvement business, the fellow that did the information guide that I didn't do, that he just wanted information and so forth, reason he didn't like it is because it was my thing was too long. Nobody's going to read all that stuff. So I asked him. So when you go in, you make a presentation for your installation. How long does it take you to do a sales presentation? He said 2 hours. 2 hours. We're in their home for 2 hours. So, well, if mine is too long, why can't you do your sales presentation in a 140-character tweet? Well, we can't do it. We can't get all proof. We can't prove it. Exactly. You can't. See, this is about get them there, get them qualified, get them prepared. You can't make that proof in a 140-character tweet. You can't make it in a one-page letter. Because what you guys sell is exotic and complex. Right. You need long when it's big and unusual. Your stuff is custom. That's unusual. It qualifies for unusual. Length is not as important as content. Because remember, educated people want the facts. They want the information. They need to be proven why they need it. They want all the facts, more information versus less. Because you want them in a vacuum. You want them staying with you. Make sense? Long copy is better than short copy. So for my book, which you have here, Dan Kennedy interviewed me for the release of the book. And in the booklet, I've underlined some things here I'll point out. So one of the questions that Dan asked on the interview, because my documentaries are 30, 60 minutes long. Pre-consult videos are 20, 30 minutes long. Dan asked the question about length. And I said, how long do you need to communicate what you want to communicate effectively? Proof. Not presentation. Proof. Validation. Can it be done in 2 minutes, or does it take 30 minutes? You want them vested in the content. They're a much better prospect because they spent time with you. There's a direct correlation between the amount of time they spend with you and how much they invest. All right. So I'm going to get into something else. So let's talk about really the key in this thing. And the key is appointment, no sale. This is really the biggest opportunity for every practice in America. So recently, as recent as Saturday, I published it out. I put out a survey to the dentists on my list. And what I mean by that is the dentists that are following me. It's under 10,000 dentists, which is a sizable list. But I put out this survey. And I'm going to base the survey on that the information that they provided me is fact, that it's validatable data. I don't think it is, and you'll see why. So I had 4 questions on the survey. First question is, how many new patients per month do you get in the practice? So of the under 10,000 that I polled in the survey, 84% of them, so 84%, said they get, I have the data here because I just pulled this today, they get 30 or less new patients per month. 84%, 30 or less new patients a month. 16% of them said they get 50 or more per month. The second question I asked was, of the new patients you get in the practice, how many do you present a treatment plan to? And the general consensus was 90 to 95% of new patients get a treatment plan presented to them. Great. Of the 90-95%, so let's figure out what that is. So let's say that, let's just use this one, 30. So 30 times, let's conservative, 30 times 90, this is 27 patients. 50, let's say just 50, 90, this is 45 patients get a treatment plan presented to them. Okay? Of those that get a treatment plan presented, how many accept treatment? And there was a mix here, so I'm going to take a general consensus. 80% of these presented accept treatment. That leaves, so they accept. That leaves 20% who say, no, I got to think about it, whatever. This is without any of this stuff. So then I asked, of the people, that one's crap, of the people, we'll use this one again, of the people that don't accept treatment, how do you follow up with them? 33% said yes. 66% of them said no or depends or sometimes. Sometimes. So I basically will take that as a no, because there's no consistency. There may not be a system or process for it. So let's look at this opportunity here. So let's say, for instance, we have 45. So 80% of the 27 times 80%, that's going to be, for these people, the 84%ers, that's 22 accept treatment. And for the 45, that's 36 accept treatment. So we've got 5 opportunities here. And here we've got 9. This is on a monthly basis. So we got 5 opportunities per month, and we've got 9. Keep in mind, in a year this turns into 60, and in a year this turns into 72. So this is opportunity. These are what I call appointments, no sale. They came in, they got a treatment plan, they said no. This is money in the bank. What did I say here? 33% say yes. The majority say no. Really, they have no real message of following up. Now, I said before, I'm going to take this data as fact, as data, trackable data. I don't believe it to be, because the conversations that I have with practices, there's 2 conversations. There's one with you, the doctor, and then there's one with the staff. All right? And the reason that I say I don't take this as fact on the follow-up is because one of the folks that took part in this survey, because she told me she did, said she was one of the 33%ers. Yep, we follow up. Yet I know, in talking with her staff, they do follow up. Their follow-up is, hi, you came in, you got a treatment plan presented. We're just following up, see if you're interested in doing that. No? Okay, great, thanks. That's the follow-up. Okay? Understand something. We are wanting people to change their mind. People don't change their mind. They're not going to be changing their mind. But what we do want them to do is we want them to make a new decision. People don't change their mind, but they make new decisions based on new information. And that's what we present them. So following up and saying, hey, do you want to go ahead with that treatment plan? No, based on the same information. See, we need to present them new information. We need to present them with more articulate information on the importance of the procedure. The importance of them doing it now rather than later. For example, you know, Joe, that anything you put off until later is always more expensive. It's true in auto repair. It's true in dentistry. It's true in everything. If we put it off, okay? So let me share a story, personal story. So about 6 years ago, my wife and I, we bought a second home in Central Florida. And we're northern people. We're Yankees, okay? We're like here in Cincinnati, okay? It gets cold. In Cleveland, we have snow. We have hard winters. We got lake effect. We get mounds of snow. They shut schools down for the winter in the wintertime. It's frigid cold. It's not Minnesota bad. It's not necessarily Chicago bad, but it's bad. So we know that. So we buy a home in Central Florida. Okay? Central Florida gets hot there in the summertime. Got air conditioning. Great, no problem. See, we can have air conditioning. So we buy the home, and we get contacted by a HVAC company and says, hey, we saw that you just bought a new home and are moving in, and we just want to offer you a new customer special. We want to come out. We want to check your air conditioning system, make sure everything's working okay. Great. It's their opportunity to make a sales pitch to us on a service plan. So they come out. I think it was $70. Great, no problem. Well, they pitch us on a service plan. The service plan is like $300, $400. I don't know. I'm going to pick a number. Let's say $350. Say $350 for the year. I say no, because I can bring them out every 6 months. I can only need to spend $79.95 every 6 months. That's what it's going to cost me. So it's basically $160 per year. $160 per year versus $350. It's less than half. Makes sense to me. I'm a northern guy. I know cold. I need heat. Okay, in Florida, it's hot. We got air conditioning. Until the second summer, see, we vacation in Florida in the summertime. I know it doesn't make sense. We vacation in Florida in the summertime. We do that because my kids are out of school. My wife is a teacher. She's off of school. So we spend 2.5 months in Florida in the summertime. Air conditioning is important. Second summer we're there, air conditioning goes out. We have the company come back out. I don't have a service plan with them. Parts aren't covered. Nothing's covered. With the service plan, they don't guarantee the piece, but they lock us into, in the event that we do need to, it's a much more discounted replacement and service and all that. Everything's discounted. Everything's at advantage. If I'd have only taken the $350 a year. Because when they come out, they tell me I need a new air conditioning unit. Great, what's that going to cost? $10,000. Well, I got to tell you, the wife and the kids sleeping for 2 nights when the temperature outside is 89 degrees at midnight, opening the windows does not make it cooler in the house. And after 2 nights of the kids and the wife sleeping in that, unbearable. Believe me, this number makes total sense. So had I been prepared in advance and given the facts, I would not have necessarily, I would have had to invest in a new air conditioning. But I asked them, had I had this plan, what would this have cost me? It would have cost me $6,500 instead of the $10K. That's $3,500 difference. That's a significant amount. See, now they replace this. You bet I'm doing this on top of this. Why? Because I now have new information. And that new information is having had to sleep 2 nights in 98 degree outside or 89 degrees outside and near 100 inside with fans and high humidity. 80, 90% humidity. See, I got new information. Your patients who go undone. So these patients that go undone, we don't want them to change their mind. We need to give them a new information so they can make a new decision. That's what the appointment no sale is. All right. So now you may say, okay, well, we got that. We can call them. And I just got an email from a client. I just sent out an email today. That was the end of the year is coming. So when we're doing this, it's October. And a lot of dentists do this. It's the end of the year, and your benefits are going to run out. So you should go forward with treatment. You should use your benefits. All right. Well, see, that's predicated on the fact that the patients value the dental care. Patients don't value dental care. Because if they did, there'd be more patients in dental practices. See, we hope that they view dental insurance like they view medical insurance. 80-20, 90-10, 95-5. It's not. You know it, they know it. So the idea of you should come back and get treatment done because you got benefits that are going to run out. See, the benefits have to be valuable to them. See, I got 2 kids, a wife. We got a family of 4 plan and dental insurance, and we have good dental insurance. But I can't tell you how much in benefits. That requires me to make a telephone call. I'm not doing it because that means I got to call the dental practice, which means they got to get into it. They got to follow up. Or I got to call the insurance company, which I'm not doing. Okay? So in order to get new information to make this decision, I don't know how much in benefits I've used. A small percentage of your patients know it. Most of them don't. So I'm not saying that your benefits are going to run out. Promotion isn't a promotion you shouldn't do. You should do it. There are going to be people that are going to be motivated by that. But it's not compelling enough to get a new decision, especially if it's a $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 case. All right? So the appointment no sale is really about new information, compelling information. And it's not just new information. This is where I talked about with the pre-consult, you have to have kind of thick skin for that one. This is even more so because this is now after the fact. You've already gotten this case presentation. You've already gotten this treatment plan. You didn't go forward with it. Here's the 5 reasons people don't go forward with it. We don't say it, but in essence, here's why you're foolish not to do it. And it's not because your benefits are going to run out. It's health conditions. It's health situations. It's all the triggers of body health, but not in a gentle way, in a forceful way, in a loving but stern parent way. Okay? So I have a practice that I'm working with right now, and we're developing the appointment no sale, we're developing the consult, and we're developing a third I'll go over here fairly quickly with you. But I talked to this dentist, and we looked for opportunities. So where do we start? I said, where can we get the most bang for your investment and not require you to trying to drive more patients into the practice? He told me he's got $1 million of undone treatment over a 2-year period. Here's why I say this data from my survey is inaccurate. Because if there's 9 patients, 5 patients undone treatment on a monthly basis, on the high side, 9, that averages out to 72 patients a year. 72 patients a year, let's say he's got 72, that's 144. Just do some quick math here. So he's got $1 million in undone treatment. divided by, using those numbers, 144. That means that each case is possible, is $6,945 per case. Yeah, I guess it's possible. But let's say, for instance, okay, so let's say he's got 144 cases undone at $6,945 each. And let's say, for instance, this is based on Excellence in Orthodontics numbers, because I've just started doing this for general dentists. So let's say, for instance, we're able to convert 20% of that. So what is that? That's 28. Let's just round numbers. Let's say 28 patients times 28. That is $194, $444 in production generated from those 28 patients converted. This is a system, and it's not one system, because I want to share something with you. All right? It's not a one and done, and I'm going to skip over a bunch of stuff I got here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So this is from my relationship marketing. I wrote an article on this. This is data from the direct sales industry. So here's some sales statistics. The percentage of sales after the number of contacts. So one contact, one call, one whatever, follow-up. 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. 3% of the sales are made on the second contact. This is follow-up. 5% are made on the third contact. 10% are made on the fourth contact. And 80% are made on the 5th through the 12th contact with a lead or a prospect. Somebody's gotten a treatment plan that's gone undone. Here are sales follow-up trends. Okay, so that's the numbers. Those are data. 80% of people who said no, and they said no an additional 4 times and continue to get a follow-up, convert. 80%. Here's a typical follow-up. 48% of salespeople, again, salespeople, never follow up with a prospect after the initial contact. Never. 25% make a second attempt and stop. 2% make a third attempt. 10% follow up with 3 contacts, with more than 3 contacts. So the people that are going, the 10% that are going beyond 3, so even if it's just 3, they're getting 5% conversion. But if they go to 5, 80%, this is data. You increase your odds of making the sale when you follow up. 38% increase on the first follow-up, 61 on the second, 71 on the third, 82 on the fourth, 90% on the fifth, and 92% on the 6th follow-up attempt. It just requires new information. It's not following up saying, hey, do you want to go with that? It's new information. Okay? So that's data. So now you say, okay, well, this guy's 2 years out. Maybe some of these people have already done treatment. Yeah, it's possible. We can discount some of it. We can discount a percentage of them. But the majority, no. Because if they said no to you and they went someplace else, which is very unlikely, low percentage, because they found out from you, oh gosh, I'm going to get the same thing from another dentist. They're not going to subject themselves to that. So they said no. They stopped. Unless it was an emergency case or it turned into an emergency case, 90% of these people have not done treatment, which is why the numbers on follow-up are so high. See, when somebody says no, no does not mean no. What it means is not now. Why not now? Because I haven't been given the right information to say yes. Does that make sense? So that's 2 things. Number 1, the pre-consults, people you're already getting, so we're preparing them for the sale. So this is really 3 legs of a stool. I've talked to you about 2. Number 1 is the pre-consultation, preparing them for the experience, preparing from the conversations they're going to have in the practice. Right? That by itself is going to increase or decrease this. However, you're still going to get people to say no. You got to think about it. Got to talk to my spouse. Got to talk to my significant other. I got to pray on it. Got to talk to my priest. It decreases this with the pre-consult. The appointment, no sale. So that's the pre-consultation. The appointment, no sale is the follow-up. It's the 5 or more steps. This is one step. I'm not going to give away what the others is, but it's powerful. All right. The third step, internal. You haven't spent any money for these people. You've already got them. The third piece, which is what most every dentist says is their most valuable and the biggest source of new patients, and that's referrals. And we call this the referral stimulus. The referral stimulus. The referral is, quite honestly, a tool. And you probably have some type of referral system. But this is a tool. This is a tool that, and here's kind of how the script goes, how you teach and educate people. So people are willing to refer, but they're not willing to sell. They don't know how to sell. They don't know how to sell dentistry. They don't know how to sell you. They're willing to refer. They just don't know how. You give them a tool. And I ask patients, do you refer? And if they like you, they know you, and they trust you, they all say yes. And I ask, how does that come up in conversation? I say, well, oftentimes when a person is at work and they're leaving, they say, hey, I'm leaving, I'm going to the dentist. I'll be back after lunch. Generally, a conversation ensues there. And the conversation is, oh, what dentist do you go to? I got to find a dentist. I got at this dentist and I don't like this dentist. I got to find a new one. Who do you go to? Do you like him? Do you like her? What is it about it? This conversation now ensues. Or they're sitting over coffee or dinner, and it comes up about a complaint about something they had with their teeth. I had to go to the dentist. What dentist do you go to? It comes up. So, referral stimulus is a piece that they now can give. It both nurtures that in conjunction with profiles. It nurtures referrals because this is, hey, this is what happens around here. You're encouraged to refer people because we want more people like you. If we were able to have more people like you referred to us, you wouldn't see us advertising. We wouldn't have to advertise because we'd have more people just like you. And you're our ideal patient. Birds of a feather flock together. All right? So you give them a piece that says, hey, you need to refer. Here's the piece. We give you this thing that says, when it comes up in conversation, as it sometimes does, we would love for you to give this away and tell people, this is the dentist, that we're the dentist that you like and trust with your health. And guess what? Now they got a tool. They got real estate. They got a physical thing that sits at their home, which leads me into the last thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night. And that is, okay, Ron, you've shown me DVDs, you've shown me discs, you've shown me physical things. Can I do this online? Sure you can. So the last thing I want to talk about that I got time for tonight, I'm not going to get to the others, talked briefly about it, is I'm going to wrap this up with, can I do it digitally and not physically? Sure you can. Is it going to be as effective? No. Okay, so here's an article that was done, it was published in 2009. It says, why the internet is so distracting and what you can do about it. I want to focus on the distracting part. So I've underlined some stuff, it's in your book. People start out by searching one thing and then bump into something else, even more intriguing, and they veer off in that direction. They're distracted. We often repeat this pattern many times. You've done it. The example I given here is you sit down and you're looking for tickets to Hawaii. You and your wife want to take a trip. Your wife's excited. You sit down to start to research this. Guess what? Up pops this thing with the talking dog or the acrobatic cat, and now you're taking off in that direction. And then you see something else, and you're taking off in that direction. And then you're taking off in that direction. And your wife comes in after 2-3 hours and says, "What'd you find out about Hawaii?" Ooh, I stopped looking for that 2 hours ago. Now she's upset. Okay? Online, they would use a term I like, is attention dopiness. Attention dopiness. We're easily distracted, more so now than ever before. We're unable to focus and stay focused on stuff. All right? See, with physical stuff, we're communicating to them in a vacuum. See, they're not distracted. When they put this in to watch this, they're not distracted. The other problem is online is what my friend and client Matt Zagula refers to as the Google slap. All right? So I want to jump ahead here. So the Google slap and I don't see it here. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it is. Here, it's right here. So in technical terms, the Google slap technically is referred to in pay-per-click situations, determines that an advertiser is sending people to click their ad that's not related, it's in poor quality. Technically, it deals with Google's algorithm, and it guides you and directs you in places. Okay? Matt Zagula refers to it as something different, that is actually more insightful and more relevant to us as business people doing online marketing, online advertising. So, preface. You want to deliberately violate as many of the industry norms and common practices as possible. Do things like Walt Disney, Herb Keller, Southwest Airlines, Lee Iacocca of Chrysler, Howard Schultz of Starbucks. They're just some of the classics. And this creates a strong defense against the Google slap. Here's what Matt defines the Google slap. So think about a prospect sitting in front of him, you, who should buy life insurance. He's a financial advisor. He gets out of the meeting, the customer gets out of the meeting, telling me that he wants to think about it. He goes home, he jumps on Google, and he searches life insurance. He searches dentistry, implants, Invisalign, braces. He goes to work doing his due diligence. We all want to do due diligence. By the time the prospect who he's failed to close, and closing here is a good thing, putting people into treatment. It's truly client-customer advocate. He finishes his review of these 189 million different resources online, the articles and need-based calculations, and he's likely dead to him. He's likely dead to you. So if they don't, they're going to go home and they're going to search. All right? They're either going to find somebody who's cheaper, or they're not going to do anything at all. The point is, the Google slap is they're going to go and shop. You don't want them shopping. When they're online, they get distracted by other things. God help, the best thing that could happen is they get distracted by the talking dog video. The worst thing that can happen is the same thing I see happen in dental practices, waiting rooms, patient rooms, is you go in and there's a TV on. As I'm sitting in the waiting room to go see the dentist, up pops a competitive dentist advertisement for a cheaper price. Guess what? I'm out and I'm on my way. That's the Google slap. You want to be communicating with them in a vacuum. When you have physical content, they don't have to go fetch it. I got an article in there for you I'm not going to go over about the fetch factor. Is that online they got to fetch stuff. All right. There's another article in there in regards to CDs. DVDs are not dead. They really aren't. despite what you may think. All right. The big thing is, I got articles here for you. It's about owning real estate. So as I have on many occasions shown people, you've got this thing where this video has shown up in this device or on the computer. It's sitting in your inbox in an email with a link. You got to go get it. All right? It's one of hundreds, if not thousands, of other ones you've gotten. You got to go fetch it. That's the fetch factor. What's the odds? It's attention dopiness. What are the odds that if you don't do it right now with intentions to come back to it, you're going to forget about it? And what happens to those emails? Boop, 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 boop. As all the other emails come in, it drops further and further down. This thing shows up, and it's sitting on your counter. It's sitting on your desk. It's sitting on your car seat. It's sitting in your bedroom. It's sitting somewhere. This is a constant reminder. There's only one way they're going to forget about this. They throw it away. All right? The more we do to increase the value perception of this over what shows up here, this is harder to throw away. A book can't be thrown away. This looks like a movie. It feels like a movie. It's got value. Can't throw it away. Right? So there is tremendous value in owning real estate. And this is real estate. You get a chance. One of the things that I did with a client's Profiles of America's Best Dentist documentary is they had acquired a new practice. They bought a practice. And we took and leveraged this piece to the top 20%. We sent over 1,000 DVDs to the top 20% of patients in that practice they acquired, with the explicit intent to lessen or eliminate attrition of patients because the practice was changing hands. Right. The point I want to make is that what I'm showing you here, these are assets. These are assets that have values in other places than what their original intent is. All right. You don't get this from a video guy. Video guy makes a video. Here's the video business. Find client who's interested in making a video, make the video, get as much money out of them as you can, move on to the next one. I don't care if it works. I don't care if I got paid. These are assets. All right. So my dentist in Chicago said, after we're done with this, what's our relationship? Well, our relationship is ongoing because just like this, there's other things that this thing can be used for. What does that do? It minimizes the investment. It increases the return on investment for the asset. And any one of these things, you don't have to do once. It's new information to these patients. But to you, it's the same thing. Guess what that does? This allows you to get back to doing what you do. Dentistry, the thing you love to do, the thing you got into do with dentistry. It's not like my dentist, Dr. Panu, who said, if I could replace the business, I would. But I wouldn't have to do all the business. This is an asset. Does that make sense? All right, so we're a little bit over on time. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you sticking with me. I'm going to stick around for some questions afterwards. Anybody, with what I've shown you, anybody can do these things on their own. Anybody can do these things on their own. All right. But do you want to? Do you want to? It wasn't mine. It's a fella that I'm in a mastermind group with who's in the restaurant business. He's a marketing consultant and coach to independent restaurant owners. A guy by the name of Rory Fatt. He's out of Canada, Vancouver, Canada. I picked this up from him, and I think it's applicable here. You can't make an extra $100,000 doing $10 an hour work. Say it again. You can't make an extra $100,000, $200,000 doing $10 or $20 an hour work. Your time's too valuable. Right? If you go with a regular video guy, you're going to have to hold their hand and guide them through all this stuff. And I guarantee you, whatever the investment, however inexpensive it is, at the end, you're going to have a video that you're going to use once and throw it away and say, like so many people have said in my 35 plus years, we tried it, it didn't work. Well, I've shown you why it works. All right? So if you have any questions about any of these particular strategies, my information is there in front of you. Reach out to me. We'll set up a conversation, and we'll talk about it further, and we'll find out, just like I did with this dentist, where's the biggest opportunity? Because everybody's different. I've shown you strategies that work. I've showed you strategies that have track records in your business. These are video strategies. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you spending all the time that you did with me. Thank you very much.